Welcome to the Pittsburgh Gal Principal Podcast, where women school leaders and teachers come to share their school and classroom stories about teaching, learning, and leading. If you are a woman leader or teacher, I would love to have you on the show and share your story. Please connect with me on Twitter at eclaire_ahs or following my blog at pittsburghgalprincipal.wordpress.com. The Pittsburgh Gal Principal. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will be talking to Jennifer Ehehalt. Jennifer is the Pittsburgh Regional Manager at Common Sense Media. Common Sense Media is the nation's leading nonprofit organization dedicated to digital citizenship tools and resources for parents and educators. Jennifer collaborates with formal and informal learning organizations throughout southwestern Pennsylvania. She offers professional development, training, and support for parents and educators to help them create a culture where students behave thoughtfully, respectfully, and safely in their digital lives. Let's start the show. Hi!
Hello!
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Now, I'm confused. Is your last name Lundy or is it's not,
It's my
right?
maiden name.
Okay, it's your maiden name. And how do you pronounce your last name?
Now?
Yes.
Ehehalt.
Ehehalt.
Yes.
Jennifer Ehehalt.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So I have no specific agenda. I have no drafted questions or anything. I just what I'm doing is basically reaching out to women who are in the educational field or some, indirect or direct relationship to education, and just chatting with them about what they're doing, kind of what their vision is for, education or for the classroom, for teaching and learning, and then sharing it with whoever might want to listen and learn about it. And also kind of talking to women leaders about how they strike that balance between work and home, which no one's been able to give us an answer, but that's okay. Anyways, I just want to talk to you about what you're doing and be able to share that with the world, basically.
So where do you post it? I mean, I know we're in Skype, but I haven't used Skype, obviously, in a long time because my name is still my maiden name.
Absolutely. Well, I've only done one so far, and it was completely audio. There was no video. And we could do that, too. We don't have to post the video portion of it. It's just nice to see somebody face-to-face.
I think, yeah.
And then I posted that one I created a YouTube channel called the Pittsburgh Gal Principal. Okay. And it's actually, connected to my work stuff, too. But then I just shared it on Twitter. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Eventually, what I want to do is take the audio files and put them into a podcast so people can subscribe to them as they're, driving, etc. Because I have a very long commute, 50 miles.
Oh.
And, yes.
Where do you come from?
Newcastle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, why would I? But I didn't realize.
Yep. So, I always listen to podcasts and I like them. So that's how I got started on this, because I felt like every podcast that I listened to was either A, done by a man, and that's okay, don't get me wrong. Right. Or B, it was men sharing their story about education. Okay. And there were very many females, and I thought, wow, if you look around the classroom, if you look around school, it's mostly females who are in the schools, but they're not sharing their story. So I thought, I'll try to reach out and see if anybody's interested in doing
Usually
that.
Women are a little more humble, maybe. You kind of sit back and do your thing, and you just hope, you kind of hope someone recognizes, but you're too busy to care if anyone's recognized.
Yeah. And I know that there are, women out there who are doing amazing things like you. And so just want to kind of have an opportunity to take that voice and lift it up, I guess.
Exciting. Yeah. Any way I can help. This is fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't we just start by you sharing kind of your background up into, your professional background and where you're at right now and what you're doing.
Okay. So I guess my undergrad work was in elementary education. Okay. So I taught in the classroom for a few years. It was very short-lived. Moved into the nonprofit sector and have been doing outreach and professional development ever since. So it's probably been about 15 years since I've been since I left the classroom.
Okay. What role did you have in the classroom? What grade level?
I was a 6th grade teacher.
Okay. Did you teach
Mostly
all subjects or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So sort of on the cusp of that middle school arena.
Yes.
Wished I could have had more primary experience. I think maybe I might have stayed.
Okay.
But wasn't feeling the upper elementary in terms of, I don't know if I could do this forever.
Yeah, that's fine.
So as a younger person, I thought if I'm going to do anything or jump, I should jump now. So
okay. So what kind of things have you done since leaving the classroom?
So I left the classroom to work for Junior Achievement.
Okay, yeah.
Southwest PA. And so if you're not familiar with them, they teach kids about business and entrepreneurship. So I did all of the recruiting of volunteers because the volunteers go into the classroom and teach that curriculum from the business world. So I did that. I trained them. And then I also worked with teachers on that side of things to implement the curriculum that JA offered at the time.
Okay. We have JA Day here at our middle school. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it's a great nonprofit. My heart still, belongs there a little bit, but it's good stuff. So then after that, through that position, I met some folks at Smart Futures.
Okay. I don't know.
That's another local nonprofit here in the Pittsburgh region that is all about career education.
Huh.
So they ran a program called Keys to Work and an online mentoring program called ementoring.org or on ementoring.org. And so I did all of the training for the Keys to Work program. And
Smart
also
Futures?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to write that down. Are they in the high school setting or?
Yeah, the only thing that exists right now, I believe, is the PA mentoring program. And so if you go to PA Mentor, I think it's pa-ementor.org. Mm-hmm. They still do some soft recruitment for volunteers and connect kids in the classroom and talk about, your career path and what you should do. So I do have a small passion for career education or just what's going to happen with students in life after high school, whether they go to post-secondary, 2-year, 4-year, whatever they decide. But so I did all of the outreach for the state of Pennsylvania in that position.
Oh, wow.
So worked very closely with a lot of intermediate units across the state in terms of connecting with the schools and getting the program into all the schools.
Okay. What happened with it?
Was it a funding thing? Had a strategy. It was growing fast. So I think we were just a small group of maybe 8 or 10 of us.
Okay.
Leading in the charge. And I think the director at the time just had some different strategic plans. And so they narrowed it down to just the PA mentoring program. Okay. So there might be pockets of Keys to Work. I'm not quite sure because it's been a while now since I've left there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the mentoring program is still up and running.
Okay. Well, and then what happened?
So then I left there and went to the IU.
Okay.
So I was doing some work there, and then the Common Sense position came about where it's a position funded by the Grable Foundation. Okay. So they were looking for a regional manager here in our region. Okay. And so I hit the description at that point, and I said, absolutely, why not,
Yeah,
and just
sure.
On a national nonprofit for me, I think was a really nice next step. Mm-hmm. Because I love this region, obviously, I know it very well, but I think it was time for me to go a little bigger and just kind of get a more national perspective on education and things.
Okay.
So even though I still work very closely here in the region with the districts, our headquarters are in the Bay Area, San Francisco area. So I get to be a lot of my colleagues are pocketed across the United States. So it's really nice to get a perspective on how New York City public school system is working and, the LA system and Denver, Omaha. So it's really nice to be connected just outside the region to bring some of those best practices here.
Yeah. Now I want to talk to you about the differences and the similarities between all of those regions. But for anybody who's listening or watching who doesn't know what Common Sense Media is, can you kind of give us just a brief synopsis of that and where they might go to find more information if they're interested?
Sure. So Common Sense Media is a national nonprofit. Our mission is really dedicated to improving the lives of kids and families by really providing trustworthy information they need in order to navigate or harness this whole idea of technology. So whether you're a parent on the consumer side of things, we offer ratings and reviews for apps, books, games, music, websites. We help parents kind of navigate that idea of, is it age-appropriate content? And is there the potential for learning?
Right.
So really nice kind of unbiased ratings and reviews to give that platform to parents and families around navigating a healthy media diet.
Okay.
On the other side of the coin, we work very closely in the education kind of perspective. And so we have a full concentration on digital citizenship and helping kindergarten through 12th graders navigate this idea of being safe, responsible, and ethical online.
Very important.
Very important. And so our curriculum was actually designed out of the Harvard School of Education. We worked very closely with Dr. Howard Garner in the Good Play Project. So a lot of our scope and sequence and some of the things that became of the curriculum was out of the research that he had done years ago. So we have, hundreds and thousands of school districts using the program. That tens and thousands of educators registered on the site, pulling the resources for the districts because all resources are free, which is really nice.
Very nice. Free. Everyone likes free.
Sponsors and our local funders. So that's really, really good for school districts to be able to have that. And then our other pillar is the EdTech piece. So understanding how to integrate technology into the classroom. Lots of schools are going BYOD, have laptop cards, iPad cards, one-to-one. And so it changes the way teachers have to think about teaching lessons now.
Right.
And so how do they engage kids in the way the students are learning in today's world? How do you choose those really good apps and websites? How do you tie them to the standards you're already teaching? And so we try to make it seamless for the teachers. So we have a website for teachers where teachers are vetting apps and websites for learning. So teachers in the field are going in and saying, hey, I use XYZ app. It's great. I use it this type of a setting. Setup was easy. Like anything and everything you'd want to know about a particular app, we're trying to narrow down a library of resources for teachers. So offering PD along with that too, whether it's face-to-face or online.
Okay. So where do people go to find
So you
more?
can go to commonsensemedia.org.
Okay.
Register. It allows you to download all of our free resources as well as receive newsletters that are really nice as well, just with content and keeping up with the trends happening in education or even on the consumer side of things.
Okay,
so
great.
We encourage schools to not only use it within their district, but also connect families to it as well.
Yeah. I think that's sometimes the hardest part is, reaching out to families and sharing with them because oftentimes they feel kind of out of the loop and they want to know, but they're not sure kind of how to navigate all of this new stuff that kids are being bombarded with. And it's so incredibly important. So incredibly important. So I'm glad that, Common Sense Media is doing this work and providing all of these resources for schools because, it's just great to have like a common framework.
Right.
Now tell me, so I'm very interested. I don't get to go to New York and LA and all of these great.
I don't really either, to be honest.
Oh, okay. No, but I hear a lot about California, and I've been reading a lot about some schools that seem very innovative out in the state of California. And I often joke, I'm going to move to California because it just seems like the place to be right now for education. I mean, do you get that sense too, just in your work, or?
To some degree. I mean, I have regional managers that work very closely with the Bay Area school district. So that's the unified school district out there. And then we have a regional manager in LA. Okay. And as you know, LA rolled out a one-to-one program, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Somewhat unsuccessful.
Right.
So they're making great headway now as they move forward with lessons learned. And we partnered up with them to really help them with the PD side of things in terms of digital citizenship and the EdTech piece. I think there's sometimes the convenience of their location in the heart of the tech capital of the world, so to speak.
Sure.
And so I think the access to their resources is a little easier. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I feel like those districts out there have just as many challenges and opportunities as they would across any other kind of place in the States. We had an opportunity to train the teachers in the LA system. I think it was 2 years ago. We had a PD day with them. Okay. And just listening to the other regional managers running their PDs and how we share what worked, what didn't. At the end of the day, it's all the same. Teachers lack time. You still have to get teacher buy-in no matter where you're at.
Sure.
It still relies on the culture of things. I think access is a huge challenge, whether you're in a wealthy district or a non-wealthy district. So I think across the board, just from my experience and who I'm working with, it's
some of the same
pros
challenges.
and cons everywhere.
Sure. Now, I know that Pittsburgh is starting to get a name for itself for education and innovation. And can you kind of talk about that and how it fits with your role and what you're seeing going on here in Pittsburgh that the world might not know about, but they definitely should know about?
Absolutely. So yes, as you know, Pittsburgh is a gem, so to speak, when it comes to what we're calling Remake Learning. We just came off of last week's huge initiative around what were they calling it, a huge open house for educators and parents. And I believe, over 300 events in the region all in one week.
There were so many you couldn't even get out of your own district because there were so many things going on in your own district. I thought we just need to spread that out over the entire year and we do, but okay.
So coming off of that, I think I'm still on my natural high of this doesn't happen anywhere else, I don't think. And, to bring administrators, teachers, students, you even had the Pittsburgh mayor on board with this. And so something really rare and different, which was really nice to see as I wrap up my third school year with Common Sense. I was first brought on under the Remake Learning umbrella, so to speak, through the Grable Foundation. They're really trying to make Pittsburgh a great place for kids, obviously.
Right.
And so the Allegheny Intermediate Unit was a huge partner in terms of, okay, Common Sense is going to come here, and this is who's going to help us roll this out across the region. So IU was huge in that role. The Sprout Fund was another huge partner in that. APOST, and then Pacey and the Fred Rogers Center.
Okay.
And so between those 5 groups, I felt like I could reach both early childhood, K-12, and the after-school setting in terms of getting this message out to everybody and everyone knowing that I was here and how to utilize my resources. And so when you think about the Remake Learning, I think there are a lot of things here in Pittsburgh, including Common Sense as a partner where, you'll hear lots of folks say it's not just schools, it's museums, it's libraries, it's after-school programs, it's startups, it's anyone and everyone that's doing things for kids. So to be in a region and a culture like this where everyone is on the same mission, on the same page, honestly makes your job easy because, we're all trying to do it. Is it good for kids? Great, let's partner. So I feel like the partnerships just naturally occur over a simple hello.
Right.
And so it's really nice in that respect. Even when you go outside the region and talk, they're just like, you have that many funders in your region? You have that many districts that you're working with? Like, how are you doing it? And I'm like, I don't know. I just think it's all under this umbrella and everybody's just under it making good things happen for kids.
Yeah, that's the partnership piece is what makes Pittsburgh, I think, so special. And it's not just, like you said, it's not just partnership between districts and districts. It's informal and formal learning spaces coming together to remake learning for kids. So what sort of events did you get to go to for remake learning? You probably were doing some.
I did most of the events. Yeah, I ran a huge digital citizenship one in terms of envisioning a digital citizenship plan for your district.
Okay.
So I had lots of folks bring teams in to really talk about how is this going to look in our district, because the important message we want to get across is it has to be a whole community approach to this.
Right.
We don't want we do have teachers that say, I love this and I use this and it's great, which is great. But if you don't have every teacher saying that with every administrator, every parent, all talking that same language and that same culture, it's not going to be as effective.
Right. The impact is not quite as much as the district comprehensive framework that you can build.
So that was a really important session. And then I did an EdTech session in terms of how to digitize formative assessment in the classroom. So that one was really well attended too, in terms of teachers just wanting to understand and learn how to do that. How to, what apps and websites are good for this? What grade level should I use it in? Practicing, making it a digital playground kind of atmosphere. And so I do tons of my trainings out of the Transform Ed space, located at the Allegheny Intermediate Unit, which is a space loaded with technology in terms of iPads and MacBooks and green screens and all kinds of things that teachers can come and comfortably play with and learn how to kind of take it back to their classroom. So you can ask any questions you want, and it just makes it a really nice atmosphere. So really nice way to get teachers together and learn best practices across districts.
What were some specific things that you shared about formative assessment and tech integration at that PD opportunity?
Well, what I've learned is I feel like when teachers are ready to add technology to their classroom, I feel like formative assessment's the easiest way to start.
Okay.
Can't really go wrong with it. And if it doesn't work, your lesson hasn't failed. The whole session hasn't failed because either tech failed or the user failed. I just feel like it's a nice soft way to gather data instantly from your students.
Okay.
And you show them tools like a Nearpod, a Kahoot, a Socrative, Plickers, anything like that where they can get instant feedback it's an aha moment for most teachers because, oh my gosh, I can know this within the heart of the lesson.
Right.
Absolutely. I can differentiate my instruction within 5 minutes in. Absolutely. And I say, if it fails you or it doesn't work, then you move on with the lesson and nothing's lost. So I feel like it's a nice soft way for them to build confidence to try more and more things.
And with things like Kahoot and Nearpod, it's not content specific. So it's any content, any grade level.
Exactly.
Any teacher can take that and implement it tomorrow.
Exactly. Another one I'm going to start to do is teaching with video.
Okay. Tell me about that.
Video, everyone, who doesn't like to watch a video, whether it's 4 minutes or 8 minutes or 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. We've all liked videos, right? So how do you start incorporating that into your lessons in meaningful ways? So how do you, incorporate checkpoints, and how do you use video not just for the sake of showing a movie, so to speak?
Yes, absolutely.
I think
especially during these last weeks of school, I think this is hugely critical that we're not just popping on a video and then kind of sitting back. There should be learning involved in that.
Yeah, and what does that look like?
Right.
So I'm going to hopefully in the fall offer some PD around those types of topics too.
Okay. Will it involve any creation of video? Because I think there's such potential there for kids to, not just be consumers of knowledge, but then when they create something like a video, it's so much more empowering for them.
Absolutely. So it's funny you brought up the formative assessment piece when you talk about anyone can use it no matter what they teach. Mm-hmm. So to keep my life sane, so to speak, I was offering a lot of professional development, like, oh, math teachers, come and learn about this. Oh, science teachers. Well, I was going crazy trying to learn all these things for content areas.
Sure.
So we kind of flipped the coin a little bit, and now we focus on 21st century learning. So come learn about creativity tools. Come learn about how to collaborate in your classroom. Formative assessment is an F, but we include that. But the communication tool as well. Like, how do you communicate in your classroom? How can you get the kids to communicate, and the peer communication? Mm-hmm. So in the fall, I'm going to focus on those 4 C's. Critical thinking. Great ways to add critical thinking pieces to your lessons and in your classroom. So I'm really excited to start those types of things because I think everyone's thinking those on that page of, doesn't matter what they're doing, they need to be able to do it in life after high school.
Right. Anything with social media and how to tap into the use of social media in a way that fosters learning, fosters connections that kids can make outside of the walls of the classroom.
I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like more and more teachers need to be on Twitter.
Yes.
And so every training I do, you're always like, follow me, here's my handle, I encourage you. And most teachers, I'm sad to say, have that look like I'm not doing one more thing. I'm not signing up for one more thing. People, I don't have anything good to say. I'm not exciting. Like they just don't. I don't think they fully understand what Twitter can do. And I don't think anybody does until you actually get on Twitter and see the power.
Absolutely.
So another goal, I have a lot of goals this fall, but another goal this fall is to offer some Twitter, social media Twitter kind of sessions. Nothing crazy or heavy, but just so teachers can see the beauty of it. Mm-hmm. Because I think this is a perfect region where Twitter could be so powerful. If we're this powerful face-to-face, can you imagine?
Absolutely.
What we could be doing on Twitter? And so just the Twitter chats alone, if you follow the right ones or you get involved with the right ones, it's a wealth of information and just personal PD that you could be doing all the time.
I would like to see, and I know there are a few examples like books and stuff that I've read where teachers are, harnessing the power of, let's say, Twitter with their kids. Mm-hmm. Because so many kids are on, let's face it, they're on Twitter, but they're not using it in a way that's fostering any learning. And I wonder, like, I think they just don't know how that could help them, connect with people of interest or connect with, things related to future career goals, or just, I've heard of teachers who use Twitter to, share student projects so students can have this broader audience. I would like to see so many more teachers doing that, but they're so hesitant. And I get it. I mean, I understand the reservations, but have you worked with, do you have any examples maybe to share?
Like maybe a year ago, there is a teacher in the Woodland Hills School District.
Okay.
I think at the high school level that uses Twitter in his classroom. I think he was social studies, maybe. And he seemed to have great success with it. I mean, it's been a while since I've connected with him, but I remember him sitting on a panel once and discussing his best practices around using Twitter with the kids because they were already on it.
Right.
And so, gosh, I wish I could think of his name. I'm sure I have it somewhere, but that's the one that stands out to me most. Unfortunately, most districts have a policy. Like most teachers can't even be on Facebook or even that Twitter is kind of wrapped up in that, so to speak. So until schools start to open up those avenues for the administration and the staff, I think there's always going to be a barrier just because of the social media policies and how they need to be updated.
Okay.
And there's privacy around that too. I mean, the district privacy policies, I think they stay away from that because of those types of things too.
Yeah.
And that's district by district here. I mean, obviously, you know, we have 42 different districts doing 42 different things. So it's more choice by the district.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now let's kind of shift a little bit. Let's just talk about being a woman. And, you know, obviously you have lots of goals, lots of things that you're...
listen to me. When is all this happening?
No, that's great. That's wonderful. And I think this is what we do to ourselves. I mean, we get wrapped up in so many things and we're spinning so many, you know, plates in the air. And you have a little one at home. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you find the balance? Are you able to? Do you have any suggestions for other women?
Well, I think I'm very fortunate to work for an organization who allows flexibility and also is very family-oriented. And so I think that that's huge as we move into the 21st century learning and the skills we're giving our kids. I think most entities or workplaces are starting to add that flexibility a little bit in terms of do what you need to do, but just get your stuff done.
Right.
So, you know, I will find myself doing things in the evening if something came up in the middle of the day or whatever, you know, and I kind of balance my time that way. You know, you kind of set your goals for the week and by Friday, you just hope they get done.
Yes.
You know, and you got to manage your time that way. I think it's a different management now because I know for me at 5 o'clock, I'm not done, so to speak.
No.
You know, who does that anymore where you just shut your computer and, you know, leave your office and like, okay, that's good till tomorrow, especially because I work with a whole team on the West Coast.
Oh, gosh, yeah,
not that
absolutely.
they're like all night long even emailing, but, you know, you're still kind of making sure nothing's crazy or you don't need anything. And we all know we don't want to go into a next morning fire. So you're kind of at least
always connected. Always connected.
I do Twitter chats at night. And so there's just always learning to be had. So I feel like you just kind of do it. And I think multitasking is one of the number one things you learn instantly as a mom.
Right. Absolutely.
To do those things. But I guess I'm with probably every other woman in America and the world saying, I don't know the answer to balance. I just do what I can with what I have.
I find myself sometimes just, you know, like I'm always connected to my phone, which is my email and, you know, text messages about work and all that. Like I will have to just put it away sometimes for an hour and just say, okay, I'm not even going to look at it. And it's hard.
It's very hard.
So hard. And I feel guilty doing that. But then I feel guilty if I'm always connected as I'm trying to spend time with my children and my husband and, you know, everything else. And so it's always that, like you're saying, it's always just that trying to strike that balance. And I haven't found a way to figure it out.
I think we're doing the right thing though. Taking that time out of your day, whether it's morning or evening, to turn it off, put it away. I know at dinner, no cell phones at the table.
Oh,
if you can't eat for 40 minutes, like, you know, we're all guilty of it because it dings and you're just like, who needs me?
Right.
But, you know, we try to, and I think every family struggles with that. And I'm a small family, so I can't imagine as families grow and the kids get older, all the management that has to happen between, are you using that for homework or are you using that for pleasure, you know, personal reasons? I don't know. So I think I have a lot to learn. But in the meantime, I'm just taking it day by day and you know, doing what you can to serve everybody's needs.
Yes, yes. I know. That's what we try to do, though. I think that's our problem. We try to serve everybody's needs.
Yep.
So now, since we're talking about children, and your children, and thinking about education and teaching and learning, and sometimes I get frustrated when I think of, you know, schools who are still kind of stuck in that traditional route, and I feel like, and I step back and I think about my own kids, and are they getting what they need to make it in the world that we don't even know what it's going to be like? So I'm just curious from your vantage point, like what would be your vision of what you want your kid, because I know it's a daughter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She's still small and hasn't started school. So what are you hoping that she gets out when she eventually gets to school? Hoping she gets out of the school experience?
It's a very good question. I think right now we're in a very radical time for education. Mm-hmm. It's just changing so rapidly that we've never had to face these rapid changes before. Everybody just kind of said, here's a new initiative. We'll take some time to roll it out.
Right. Well, the world is rapidly changing. Yeah. And that makes it even more challenging.
How do you keep up? Especially when districts are moving so slow all the time with things. And no one's fault. It's just the way the system is.
Right.
And so I think lots of school districts in our region have taken leaps and bounds through either the administration that's done it, a lead teacher. It's never one person. I think it takes a lot of different hats in the building to make, the culture good and preparing kids. I think strategic plans are a huge role in that. Mm-hmm. Making sure the district's strategic plans are always up to date and thinking, forward thinking, innovative thinking, growth mindset, all of these new terms that are coming about. As a parent, and I'm in education, so to speak, so I feel a little blessed that I at least sort of know what's happening or can at least speak about it. But, some of the parents that aren't even in the arena of this, I just can't imagine what they're thinking and feeling. So being into it, obviously we both know, and you can probably agree or disagree, but, test scores aren't going to get my daughter a dream job, a good life. And, when was the last time I took a standardized test?
Yes.
Right? I mean, I feel like
never.
I create and contribute and communicate and collaborate every single day. And those skills, I hope, is what she gains to transfer all the time. I mean, we came from, I was in that generation where we took tests and you learned this and this is what you went to school for. And now you feel like most of it can be put in a can because I'm doing things and learning things that I never dreamt. I mean, this job didn't even exist when I was in college.
Right, absolutely.
So it's just, it's funny when you even think about what do you want to be when you grow up. We don't even know what they're going to be.
It doesn't even exist.
I just want her to be able to function. Obviously, learn as much technology as you can. It's a hard question. I just know that, I want her to be, I hate to use the word innovative place. Because what does innovation mean? That means something different to everybody as well. But I just want her to have opportunities and learn. I mean, I think learning can look different everywhere too.
Right.
Just using your mind.
Yeah, I think as my son goes through school, and my daughter will eventually in 5 years. But I get frustrated sometimes when I still see just worksheets coming home, and I know that everyone's on the same page on the same day. And we all know that kids just don't learn like that. I mean, every kid is different and every kid learns at a different pace and every kid needs different things. And I'm not saying that kids don't need some subset of basic skills. So my hope for my son and my daughter is that they have that opportunity to figure out how to learn for themselves. Mm-hmm. So that when they finish high school and if college is even relevant at that point, if they go off to college, that they know how to figure out what they need to know when they need to know it. Mm. And, I don't know. I get frustrated with sometimes how it goes so slow because I feel like, there's so much more we could be doing. And I see so many great things going on in little pockets.
Right.
So, I don't know. No, we're not going to answer that question today, I guess.
But it's a good one to think about. I mean, it's definitely a conversation probably to have even to continue. I mean, that's something I think you have to talk about all the time because it's always changing. And you hear of different school districts and different classrooms and different buildings doing different things. And I think it's all great. If the kids are adapting and they're learning, keep doing it, right? I mean, but at the same time, you feel almost like, well, what's happening in the schools and buildings that's not happening? Is it okay? Is it, I don't know. That's, I guess, for me to still kind of discover, but
right.
I don't think any of it's bad. It's just
I think we sometimes can get so stuck in how it was for us,
right?
Because that's
I did it this way. I came out just fine. Well, we did, but there are days I'm not going to lie. I struggle, just with now I have to learn this, and I don't care. But I feel like lifelong learning has a whole new term or a whole new meaning of lifelong learning. I mean,
right. I mean, I don't know what the number is, but somewhere that's written of, the expected numbers of number of jobs that each individual person is going to have. I mean, the idea that you're going to, graduate from college and have a job for the next 35 years and it's going to be the same job and that job is never going to change is just,
it's obsolete.
Yes, it's obsolete.
Yeah. My husband, he just had a retirement party for a coworker. He has been at the place for, I think it was 35 years, 40 years. And I just sat at the table going, I can't even wrap my head around that.
But I wonder if the job, how much the job itself changed, if
right.
at all. Or...
It's just crazy to me to think. I mean, I'm sort of young, I think, to have already like my 5th position in life. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I can't imagine I still have friends, I guess, that are at their original job when they graduated. And things have changed and shifted in their learning and things like that. But I guess I just like different things a lot of times.
Yeah, and the challenge is, like, how do you prepare kids for, how do you know what content to teach them? How do you know, and I guess that's the question. Is there a set of content that every kid needs? Or is it very dependent upon what they're going to do and at what point in time? I don't know. So it's just good questions to think about.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I mean, even email, for example. How long or how many years have people been using just Outlook? Let's just use Outlook for an example.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know that I ever used Outlook.
Okay. So in the business world, Outlook was, you used Outlook. We just went all Google.
Right. Let's talk about Excel.
It's fine. You know what I mean? But it's just funny. Like, you just think something's always going to exist. And like, oh my gosh, is everyone going to change? And that was a huge change for our organization. To just have a Gmail.
It still is.
Yeah. So you're still learning. Like, the calendar's different. I mean, just everything. But I'm thinking to myself, it's all the same stuff. Like, email is still the same concept. It's still
right.
So I didn't have to learn much other than like just maybe some new buttons in the interface. But I feel like that's what our kids are going to do. Like, it's always going to be sort of that same concept. It's just always going to be different because it's going to change to approve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wonder if email will not exist one day. It'll be something different, something else. I don't know what that would be, but I don't know. So anyways, well, Jennifer, thank you so much. I know, you're so busy. This is a crazy time for schools. And I'm sure you've got a lot going on. And I really appreciate you taking half an hour out of your day to chat with me. I'd love to chat with you more.
Definitely.
But I'm sure, after people listen to this, people are going to want to connect with you. So kind of tell them what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
I guess email,
okay.
Speaking of, or Twitter. I'm on Twitter as well. So my Twitter handle is @Ehehalt. So it's JEHEHALT.
Okay.
On Twitter. And then my email is the same thing, jehalt@commonsense.org.
And that was, again, commonsensemedia.org for all of the resources. And is that also where they would go to find the tech integration stuff too? Common Sense Media. Okay, great. Wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jennifer. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
I will see you soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for listening in on the Pittsburgh Gal Principal Podcast. I am always excited to connect with women in education, learn how they are balancing work and home, as well as challenging the status quo about what it means to be a successful woman. My podcast is all about elevating the voices of women, so please share these stories with your friends and your colleagues. Find me on Twitter @eclaire_ahs. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.